Good day to you, my fellow endoskeletons. I'm Kenetor and welcome back for another Starbase progress report. We're on week 44 of 2020, and if you're new here, I bring you the latest news and updates of everything Starbase every Monday. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss out. Now let's get to it. Over the last week in closed alpha, the devs did what they said would be a bad idea, and we were given access to the first working version of jump gates, and thus the moon, but without gravity. While we can't build them, the devs placed two gates, one just off of Origin, which you can even see in the menu screen, and one at the moon. Right now there is no gate device or model, it's just an area within a large ring station. It takes just one gate to jump all the way to the moon, but this may not be the final gate range and may just be to treat us with the moon access for a little bit. And with access, the community did indeed venture forth and travel to these new lands. Warp travel is a bit weird right now as you don't have to have thrusters on and you can jump off your ship with or without lifeline and it won't fly away. However, if you do turn on the thrusters, you will leave any endos off the ship behind. Watching Eos shrink behind you and the moon slowly at first but then rapidly grow is awesome to watch over the 10 or 11 minutes it takes to complete the warp journey. When I got to the moon, I headed straight down to the surface and met up with others at what is now known as Mount Gate. I even did a merry jig at being able to set foot on the moon. On the way back, we grouped up at the gate and decided to test jumping at the same time. Sadly, we could not see each other through the warp, and without a built-in system, jumping together and seeing each other's ships will just be impossible. Coming out the other side, some of us encountered a bug where we couldn't move, but dropping thrust to 0 and ramping it back up fixed this. But one thing is for sure, despite having no warp or gate effects, the sight of many ships coming through the gate is pretty epic. A few days later, Collective organised an event to celebrate when Hatman first smashed into the moon, by once again smashing even more ships into the moon. The area from the gate to the surface is a safe zone, so we met up above Mount Gate and headed out to the non-safe space. Once found, it was time to nosedive to our doom, and this is where the havoc began. Some crashed and broke into many pieces, some split their ships in two, and some like myself managed to have part or the seat break off and end up under the moon's surface. Once under, you can't get out of your seat and are trapped. One lucky endo somehow managed to lag his entire ship through the moon and was flying underground. After respawning, I quickly made my way back to the moon to survey the damage. And my lord, there was debris everywhere. While I was on my way back, the surviving members of the crash team took some group photos, and of course someone got an itchy trigger finger and detonated some fuel tanks. So with the moon visited and many bugs found for the devs to fix, it was quite a productive week. In the Lowry quote of the week, Lowry discussed overcoming the frame drops and lag we have been seeing during a lot of ships or combat. He says he recorded the last tournament match with 24 players in the zone at a solid 60 FPS, even during combat. This is a huge improvement from what we have been seeing. Hopefully these settings will be rolled out as soon as possible to closed alpha so we can find if there are any downside or unintended side effects from them. Now onto the progress report. The main design features worked on last week were: Bolt Tool Auto Bolt feature has been designed and first version tested, and that's Auto Bolt for the tool itself, not in the designer. Ore distribution design continues, new material sets have been worked on for areas around the safe zone. Spaceship Designer Virtual Mass feature has been tested. It's now possible to test ore crates with extra mass and see how it affects your ship's durability and behaviour. A minor tweak and test has been made to the Spaceship Designer Auto Bolt. There is no more fixed limit on how many bolts are placed. Fast travel gate locations and other related features have been fixed. New player-made ships were added to the economy, an auction house terminal was removed from Marketplace and added only to the Origin station. Now onto the gameplay updates. First working version of Station Blueprint Caster was implemented for testing. This is one of the last key components for station building. A fix was made for grabbing devices with jointed objects such as turrets, breaking jointed objects device connectivity. A fix was also made for holograms auto build from the station or player inventory not having their proper visuals when built, instead appearing blank. And an old utility box that allows for transferring resources such as power from station storage to containers located on lots was implemented. UI updates this week are: a fix was made for not being able to pick up some tools and weapons with the interaction pickup. Auction house terminal, where the auction house UI can be opened, has been added. Auction house UI closing when moving far enough away from the auction house terminal. A fix was made for the auction house not opening with F when a weapon is raised. Station creator specific selection types were added to the designer selection menu. Basic layout for the ship ownership UI has been made. When ownership is complete, we'll be able to trade ships. And auto bolt single object feature has been worked on. Auto bolting when pressing down left mouse button was added. Progress bar was added, and auto removing bolts when pressing down right mouse button was added as well. Starship creator updates this week are: remove the insurance transfer button from the Spaceship Designer escape menu. Virtual mass debug tool was made for the Spaceship Designer. Material costs were added to the blueprint buy dialogue. Dark and grindy times are upon us. Soon, ships bought from the SSC will need ores for their construction, as well as money, instead of just a large chunk of money. Just one animation change this week, with work on first-person sprint animations and general polish continues. Weapon art updates this week are: mounted autocannon muzzle effects were updated to be more focused and less explosive from the barrel itself, and most weapons have reticles now. Some are still incomplete but will be refined soon. And lastly, other updates this week are: auction house UI design updates have been worked on based on community suggestions. Another example of how players are helping polish this game so it's ready for general use in early access. Device connection issue where cradles purchased from shops did not work should now be fixed. Asset for blueprint chips and blueprint slots were added. Asset for 3D printer now added and being finalized. Decorational holograms have been tested and approved for cities and megastations. And first wall sections for skyscrapers have been created, and skyscraper entrance modules are also being detailed. This week I'm featuring one of my own videos, but all the effort for it goes to Collective with their new 3D mapping tool for Starbase. Many games have a point of interest map tool, and now we do as well. Cheers Collective. If you haven't seen the video yet, then do check it out. Links in the top right and description. As always, please smash that like button, share the video with your friends of faction, leave a comment with any questions you want answers to, and I'll see you in the next one. Kenetor out.